Okay.
Oh, am I
So,
on video?
yes, you are on video.
Okay.
So, I would like to ask, since moving to Jacksonville, how's your life changed for the better or worse?
It's changed for the better quite a bit. I actually feel much healthier here than I did in Atlanta, where I'm originally from. I have some health issues, and for some reason, being closer to the ocean, having more water and more sunshine just makes me feel better physically. So I still struggle sometimes with my health, but being here is very helpful. I also, it's kind of a smaller, not really that small, but it's kind of a smaller city. So it's easier to get around and go places and do the things that are interesting to me. So I have a lot more fun here. I get out and about. There's a lot of cool people in the city. There's a lot of artists and like up and coming cool stuff going on. So I love like connecting with just the people around town.
And pertaining to the artists in the city and that community, what do you think about it? Where do you think, what's the direction you can sense that going towards?
I think if we can, oh no, I got a little stain on me.
Oh, no.
Fuck, my new pants sucks. But I think if we can organize some stuff together and really collaborate in a way that's meaningful, like, I think we're a little bit fragmented. Like, there's a lot of people that are trying to be like, hey, like, I do this and I do this. And it's like, oh, cool, we should connect. And then we, like, start trying to connect and then we don't follow through and follow up because life is just, it's just hard. You know, there's a lot going on right now. There's cost of living crisis and, like, rent prices keep going up. It's really hard to be a young creative anywhere right now. And the city doesn't have a lot of infrastructure for it. So I think like we need to get together and produce our own thing, but we need like sponsorship. You know, we need like grants that are helping us for that. Like the city, I feel like if Jacksonville were to put out like young artist grants, and we could get like $1,000, $1,500 each, whoever gets the grant. You know, like 2 or 3 people awarded it, or like 5 or 10 or something like that. If there's a budget for this kind of thing, we could really make some changes, put Jacksonville on the map as like a young artist, young creative place. There's a lot going on here.
Right. I agree with your sentiment. So, off the top of your head, if you could just name some artists that stick out in your head that, are on the scene in their respective fields.
I'm pretty bad with names, but I'm going to talk about some of my friends.
Okay. That's fine.
I got to give a shout out to Kayeva. She's really cool. I love everything she's doing. She's connecting the community a lot. Also releasing music. It's really great. My mentor and friend, Arcisa, is a tattoo artist and an astrologer in the city. Of course, there's me. I'm a tattoo apprentice as well as a spiritual wellness consultant. I do tarot cards and energy healing. I'm also a visual artist and a performing artist. So I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I got my hands in a few pots. I really like there's like a community of like spoken word artists out here. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in the poetry scene, open mics. There's cool stuff happening in comedy, visual arts. One person that comes to mind is I can't think of her name. She does all these murals around the city. There's actually quite a few muralists that are young people in the city.
Elena?
Yeah, Elena Olander. Yeah, I love her murals. They're really cool. So there's a lot going on with the arts.
So where do you see yourself fitting in the overall scene? Like if you asked somebody and you heard their answer, what do you think their answer would be if they asked, how does Alafia fit in to the scene?
I don't really know. I'm such a huge person on like self-concept that I don't really understand other people's concept of me most of the time. Like I don't know what I'm putting out.
So what's your self-concept then?
I am a multimedia artist. I do art in a lot of ways. I do paintings, I do drawings and tattoos. I do textile art, garment work. I sing, I dance, I model, I cosplay, and I am a spiritual wellness practitioner. So I'm a healer, and I really like being around people that are artistic, and I understand like the challenges that have to do with being like an artistic creative person, and I feel that I can really serve the community through healing, through my healing work, as well as just be part of the community with my creative work at the same time. So that's kind of where I feel like I fit.
Right.
I don't know what other
That's
people
interesting.
would say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, where do you, if you had to make some changes about the city, what specifically would you change? Like, if, like, because you're on the ground, you know, you go out a lot, you've seen the scene. What would you like to see change about the scene?
Well, a lot of places, local like hotspots and hubs are actually closing, and I feel like that has to do with like the rent crisis. I feel like the commercial rent prices are going up to a place where it's not sustainable even for local businesses that have been in the community for 10 plus years. It's really sad. I would really like to see things I'd like to see it so that local people are able to run these businesses and connect within the community. I think one of the strengths of Jacksonville is that there is a pretty tight community, that you can get into and that will welcome you. And if we lose these community-oriented places and spaces due to things outside of our control, it's just really sad for everyone. I think that we need to create new ways for community to interact in equitable, free, and sliding scale ways, so everyone has a place to be and a way to express themselves. And that's the most important thing in order to really get our scene popping, jumping, and stepping with the rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree personally.
Yeah.
If you had to pick so you have a lot of hobbies, you have a lot of crafts that you're engaged in.
I do.
If you had to pick one though that was, I guess, your passion, if you could,
One was my passion.
one or two that really encapsulates what you're about, what would it be?
One or two. Can I pick three?
We can go for three.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice odd three.
Overall, healing, wellness. I'm going to say performing, dancing, movement arts, somatic healing. Kind of goes together in that way. And what was the third one I was going to pick? Honestly, clothing, fashion, and beauty in a sustainable lens. Earth-friendly way. A lot of people don't know about that, but the clothing industry is one of the most top polluting industries. It is absolutely actively killing the world. It's so hot right now, and it's because the climate change is clearly happening. And a lot of that has to do with waste fabric and waste dyes from fabric plants. A lot of it's synthetic, it's plastics, microplastics are in our waterways, are in our systems, and we can make different choices with fashion. And that can impact things on a huge level. It becomes a real cultural thing. We don't wear these clothes anymore. We don't shop at We don't buy anything that's not natural fiber unless it's thrifted. That kind of thing.
So with you saying clothing, do you think you could honestly pursue a big clothing breakout or exposure for making clothing from Jacksonville?
Good question.
Do you think?
I don't know if I'm the one to start it. I have a lot of information that we could use towards it. I have a lot of skills and I can train people in it. But it's, again, it was the third one on my list, right? It's not my highest priority right now. Something that I would like to do when I have more resources at hand. I'd love to start a slow fashion clothing line. I'd love to have a few seamstresses on my team and be able to make a fair living wage, all the three of us, or two or however many, a small team producing clothing, making enough. I'd love to be able to do that, but it's not my biggest priority right now. I need the space and people. So it's coming together as it comes together.
Last
I'd like to
question.
see it happen, though.
Yeah. It would be great if that could happen. Last question. For up and coming creatives, would you advise them to leave the city? Do you think they have to leave the city, or do you think they can make it here,
Man,
or at least make a living here off of their craft?
I think you can make a living here off of your craft. I think you could make a living anywhere off of your craft if you're smart. And if you're business minded, that way if you're able to market yourself, put yourself out there in ways that you need to. I think it's probably a lot harder to do here than it would be somewhere else, but you also have the advantage of being kind of like big fish, small pond. There's a lot of opportunities up for grabs. You can grab them. And there is like a pretty cool artistic scene out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would your if you had to give one piece of advice to up and coming creatives here, what would it be?
Go out. Yeah, go out. There's some cool spots around town. You're going to meet more people that are into the same things you are. You're going to make connections. You're going to network. You're going to collaborate. Collaborate, if you actually pull through with the whole thing, you know, a lot of people just say, we're going to collaborate, we're going to do it, and don't follow through. But if you do it, follow through, it'll make a difference. Everybody talks, but not everybody walks, you know. You want to walk. Walk with some people. See what happens. It's kind of cool. It's fun.
So, fuck around and find out?
Yeah, fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find
For
out.
sure. Jacksonville is the city of fucking around and finding out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for doing this interview with me.
You're
All right.
welcome.
You have a
Thanks for
wonderful
having
day.
me.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot for you.